Welcome. We, that is our university community, professors, fellow students, members of staff and myself, are very glad that you have decided to come to Lüneburg and spend a part of your life with us that can easily be said to be one of the most decisive and intense phases your life holds in store for you. What freedom lies ahead of you, what fun, what friendships, romances, and yes, I'm afraid, breakups. What thoughts to immerse into yourself, what interests to follow, books to study, growing to do. And yes, you have come to the right place. All of these things are here for your taking. I'm not sure about the breakups though. These tend to happen if we want them or not. But freedom can also be staggering. At school, you will remember, freedom is usually dished out in small helpings. But university is a different thing. Here we have classes as well, and you should turn up in time for them too. We have exams, and yes, studying for them seems to be a good idea. But there is no one here to do the picking and choosing for you to form a coherent tableau of basic and advanced knowledge in a certain field. Usually, there is no one here to say to you, "Look here, Barbara," if Barbara would be your name, "you strike me as an English and math major, drop chemistry and German literature." Only you are responsible for what you do at this university. Does that seem scaring? Well, freedom often does. But let me tell you this. Besides the scary part, there is so much satisfaction and pleasure to be had from being the director of the movie called Your Education. And it's time to take things into your own hands and become the person you are meant to be, to follow your interests and explore your talents. As some sort of guiding star on this explorational journey, let me pose this simple yet profound question to you. What is your passion? No, really. What is this you want to do more than anything else? Right now, you are probably thinking, I want to get out of here and have some refreshments, but bear with me for a little while longer. The life phases you are about to enter will change you, shape you, make you more you in the process. And you are the principal agent in this development. You hold the cards, you pull the strings, call the tune, and whatever image you would like to employ here. You make your education happen. So you see, it's only right to ask you, what is your passion? Now you might feel that your very own passion has little or nothing to do with what is going on here. Surely, the job market leaves you little to be passionate about, and even your courses here follow a certain curriculum, not your personal passion, right? Wrong. Let me tell you a story about the transforming power of passion as a motor and fuel of education and a person's academic endeavor. In 2012, Stephen Greenblatt, renowned Shakespeare scholar at Harvard, won the Pulitzer Prize for his marvelous book, The Swerve: How the World Became Modern. In his book, he argues that one of the essential milestones marking the beginning of the Renaissance was the discovery of Lucretius' scholarly poem De Rerum Natura in a German monastic library by a Florentine humanist and book hunter named Poggio Bracciolini in 1417. With the pages of this one book, which is as gripping a read as it's erudite, you will find not one but 3 cases in the point I'm making here. First, there is an American scholar who, in the preface of his book, tells his readers openly about his mother's death and the shadow that this fear cast over his childhood and young adolescence until young Stephen draws a little booklet with an interesting cover from a university bargain books box. In it, he finds a long poem in Latin dating from the 1st century BCE and written by Lucretius, a Roman poet and philosopher, whose only surviving work Stephen holds in his hand as a nicely bound reprint. And Stephen begins to read and find his worldview shaken. This is the danger of books. Out of the dim and distant past, a voice seems to speak directly to him, telling him about the eternal immortality of atoms that make up everything there is, including the stars and ourselves, and about the transience of life and the negligibility of death in the light of the fact that we are made of the same matter that the stars are made of. This knowledge does so much for him, helping him deal with the omnipresence of death in his parents' home, that even today, 50-odd years later, he can still write about this text in a way so passionate that the reader cannot help but be transfixed by a feeling of urgency with which Greenblatt the scholar had to unravel the circumstances of the poem's rediscovery. On a second level, the book tells the story of a middle-aged Florentine humanist yearning for all things antique and being fascinated by the eloquence and sophistication of Roman philosophy. And so Poggio Bracciolini leaves his lucrative job as private secretary of Pope John the 23rd. Well, the Pope just being kicked out of office and annihilated from the list of popes, so you might say there was some sort of good opportunity for change. But still, he changes his life, leaves the safe haven of Florence and follows the passion to hunt for antique texts in libraries all over Europe and try to salvage them from the hand of skeptical librarians and abbots before they crumble to dust. Mainly the texts, not the abbots, but sometimes both. And it's due to this passion and fervent zeal that a lot of texts have survived the various fires, wars, and negligent owners, so that we can study them today. On a third level, and this will be the final level I will present to you, I promise. On a third level, with the text which Bracciolini finds in the German monastic library, transfers the teaching of Epicurus, a Greek philosopher, so the poetic art of one of his disciples, Lucretius Carus. Again, we can sense the urgency with which Lucretius had to capture in verse the teaching which for him had such transformative power. 3 persons, 3 lives transformed by the passion of education and knowledge. What is your passion? What do you want to do with the freedom university offers? What contribution do you plan to make to society that might transform someone else's life in the way Greenblatt depicts? Hold your horses, Mr. President. You might want to reply to that. Aren't there these thoughts a bit too big to digest on a very first day early in the morning as students at Leuphana University? Maybe today. You should simply celebrate the fact that you have the opportunity to participate in this wonderful experience of attending university and continuing your personal and educational development on this campus. You earned this. And at the same time, university education is a gift that you may well accept. But your time at the university is also an investment society makes in you. By enabling you to follow your passion and foster your talents, society hopes to build a large host of educated minds to help create solutions for its most pressing problems. And there are quite a few of them. Here's a selection. 1. Society ages fast. With the life expectancy Holm Keller mentioned, increasing with every child born today, the number of people alive on this planet will soon be higher than the sum of people who ever lived before. And resources in healthcare, jobs, and food are limited. You can devise a system to distribute these resources justly and equally. 2. Modern urbanization poses unheard of challenges for today's government as well. Did you know that the daily produced by the city of New York alone exceeds the weight of all the elephants on this planet? At the same time, available living space becomes more and more valuable and rare, and it's increasingly difficult for governments to provide the meanings for healthy living standards for people in urban areas. 3. As political systems shift and change, so does the world economy in its interrelated web of markets, natural resources, and political alliances, demanding more than ever a global system which can guarantee each and every human being their rightful share of the world's riches and the fruits of human labor. For all the 3 pressing problems, society looks to you as a rare hope. What will you do with the opportunity to receive an education as valuable as the one provided by universities? How will you give back? What will be your vision for the world's future? There will be your passion lead you. Where will be your passion lead you? If you agree with me that education involves a human being as a whole, their brains, their heart, their hands, and that education is a gift, but a gift that leads the receiver back to the giver, then I hope you will draw the same conclusion as I. Education means accepting one's responsibility for striving to find sustainable, just, and human strategies to ensure that this world continues to be a habitable place for all of us. Your orientation week will get you started on that project. That this orientation week is possible, and that is a special platform where people can develop and share their visions, is due to the involvement of many people who have spent a lot of time and tissue to plan and run this very taxing but also rewarding operation. Thank you all for this. My special thanks, however, go to Vice President Holm Keller, who again and again has shared his vision not only for the orientation week with us, and tirelessly works for the realization of Leuphana's various facets. With all of this endeavor, I'm proud to say this orientation week will again be a wonderful time for you and introduce you to your fellow students, to the university campus and the town of Lüneburg, transferring to the town of Leinwig, and to what it means to be a student at Leuphana University. And I hope you too will experience the transformative power of a passion for knowledge and find the courage to foster your very own version of this passion, to have yourself being transformed. Our university, with all our academic and administrative staff, concepts and educational content, are there to help you on this path. This is your life, this is your freedom, this is your task. Welcome.